Join Move for Meals, a month-long fitness and fundraising challenge supporting food and friends. This October, you can walk, run, or bike wherever you are to help neighbors living with serious illnesses. Every $10 you raise provides one medically tailored meal delivered right to someone's home. With weekly wellness themes and fun challenges, Move for Meals is a chance to meet your fitness goals while fueling compassion in our community. Sign up today and make every step count at p2p.onecause.com/moveformeals or visit foodandfriends.org. Today on CityCast DC. Y'all, I am so done with summer. I am ready for what I think is the best season in DC, fall. I want warm drinks, I want crunchy leaves, I want my friend's new adorable baby bundled up in a little sweater. Fall in DC really does feel special, and if you're dreaming of a fall getaway but trying to stick to a budget, don't worry. CityCast contributor Tim Ebner has rounded up the best trips you can take from DC this season for around $150 or less. Today's Tuesday, September 23rd. I'm Bridget Todd, and here's what DC is talking about. Tim, thank you so much for being here. The last time that you and I talked, we were talking about summer trips. I gotta tell you, I am done with summer. I've had it with summer. I want fall. I want campfires. I want wearing a sweater and holding a mug of a warm beverage and contemplating while I look off into the distance. Can you help me out with this?
Yes, I can. And happy pumpkin spice latte season, Bridget.
Thank you. Back at you and to all that observe. So what stands out to you about fall travel from the DC area?
Yeah, fall, I think, is my favorite time to travel, mainly because this is a season that I call shoulder season. It's now the time when kids are back in school. It's after the Labor Day holiday. It's before the rush of the Thanksgiving and end of year holidays. So traditionally what happens is a lot of major airlines, a lot of hotels, a lot of different travel-based companies will discount steeply in this time period. And I think it's an excellent time to get away, especially in the District, Maryland, and Virginia area. I think there's incredible deals to be had. And y'all gave me a pretty tough assignment here for finding deals that were under $150 for travel somewhere in the DMV. Never an easy task given how expensive this region is. But, I think I've found you get some good deals, and it could be a really easy weekend getaway, day trip, or overnight if you need it.
Yeah, I'm excited. We got to send this episode to my co-host, Mike, who for whatever reason is like, oh, summer is the best DC season. Fall is great for so many reasons, not the least of which the weather is a little bit better. But yeah, it's the shoulder season. You can travel for a little bit cheaper sometimes. I'm right there with you.
I also love fall because you can really get away to some picturesque escapes. Obviously the leaves are changing colors, but the DMV Mid-Atlantic region still has pretty warm seasonal weather. So that means you can still eke in some beach trips or some time by the pool. It's not like we transition immediately over to winter here. And more, I feel like you can kind of stretch that summertime experience into September or even October if you're lucky.
Yeah, you mentioned what I think is sort of the quintessential fall activity when people think about fall travel, leaf peeping. How did that become kind of the thing that we think of in fall?
I mean, I think I blame Instagram for this one. It's just so aesthetically pleasing. But also, I think just leaf peeping is a chance to be in nature, to do your fall hikes, to really experience the beauty of some of our local national parks. Rock Creek Park in our backyard, perfect place to go leaf peeping if you can't get out of the district. But we have some other great national parks near us. Probably my favorite is Shenandoah National Park. And if you go there for the day, the entry into the park, it's roughly around $15 to $30, depending on the car that you drive. And you can also use, obviously, your National Parks Pass, which would get you in if you have the annual membership. But what I love about Shenandoah is Skyline Drive. Have you ever taken Skyline Drive, Bridget?
Oh, many, many times. It is probably my favorite drive close to DC that one could do. It's so picturesque.
Yeah, I totally agree. And at this time of year, it's almost as if you're driving through the clouds on top of the mountain with the change of colors and trees. And I think we're predicted to have the change of trees over to about mid to late October. So you want to time your trip maybe in that time frame if you want to really get the peak colors from fall foliage. But I think what's really great is you can also plan an overnight stay at this national park. Everyone knows you can camp there pretty cheaply. But for $150, you can actually also stay at one of the national park hotels that are inside of the park itself. And the advantage to that is you can sometimes beat the early morning crowds that tend to rush the gates to get into the park. The two hotels that are my favorites there are Skyline Lodge and the Big Meadow Lodge. These are about 10 miles apart from each other. It's about approximately 2 hours drive distance from Washington, D.C. But what's so great about these hotels both is that they have sort of a majestic cabin vibe to them. Lots of the hotels, a lot of these hotels have like balconies that overlook onto the valley of the Shenandoah. So you really get some incredible sights. Yes, fireplaces, fire pits, you name it. It's like all of the things you want to be doing for fall. And so right now is a very good time to go there. I just looked at September rates. It's $143 was the cheapest rate I could find for a nightly rate at Big Meadow, $165 per night at Skyland. So again, we're right around our budget for $150 right now if you decided to want to get away, say, in the next day or two. But of course, if you wait till October, those rates are going to increase slightly just because it is popular leaf peeping season. At Big Meadow, I looked, the lowest rate I could find for October was $175 a night. At Skyland, $172 a night. Still a pretty reasonable deal, especially when you consider these are double occupancy rooms. And if you split that with a friend, we're well below our budget then of $150. And I think truly what these hotels give you is location, location, location. You are right next to the Shenandoah River. You're sight view of the Shenandoah Valley in the Piedmont region. And really, you're just a short drive or walk away from some of the best hiking and trailheads, I think, that are in this national park.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time in Shenandoah, that region. I actually just got back from a trip out there.
Oh, cool.
One of the things I will say is that truly it's one of those places that you can make whatever you want of it. So I am an outdoorsy girl. I did kayaking on the Shenandoah River. It was fantastic. But also, if you just want to, play it a different vibe and just like sit by a fire or sit on a balcony with a beverage, you can do that too. Like there is no end to the experience that you can have in that region. And that's why I love it so much.
I love it too. And I can't stress enough that like the crowds really do build as we get closer to the Leafs changing over. So, if you're staying there overnight in the park, you really avoid the line of cars getting in the morning or leaving in the afternoon. It feels much more relaxing to stay there at night. Plus the stargazing, when you look up at the sky and there's, you're roasting your marshmallow at the fire pit, it is the perfect way to disconnect from city life.
Could not agree more. It is some of the best stargazing from the DC region, absolutely.
CityCast DC is made possible by the Peabody Institute of the Johns Hopkins University, presenting the Peabody Performance Series, a full season of free concerts at the Johns Hopkins University Bloomberg Center located at 555 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C. The Peabody Performance Series brings one of the nation's leading conservatories to the heart of D.C. with concerts and programs spanning jazz, classical, chamber music, opera, and dance. Highlights this season include the Graduate Jazz Ensemble on October 31st, and in January, the Nexus Grant featuring 2 masterclasses and a reception with internationally renowned conductor Marin Alsop and the National Philharmonic. While all events are free, tickets are required for entry. Explore the full performance schedule, find out more details, and reserve your tickets early at washingtondc.jhu.edu.
There is always something exciting to experience at the Library of Congress. Look at loc.gov/events, and this week alone, there are more than 15 free things to do. A talk with humor and pop science author Mary Roach, children's fantasy writer Catherine Rendell sharing her new book, a live concert of Texas Tejano and Chicano roots music, and an introduction to the library's business collections. Whether it's happy hour during Live at the Library, kid-friendly events at Family Days, or daytime programming for lifelong learners with afternoons at the library, there's a program to connect you with the library's collections. So plan your Library of Congress visit at loc.gov/events. So the last time that we talked a little bit about camping, but and maybe people think of that as like a summer activity, which I absolutely get. But you've actually compiled some camping or even glamping that might be more accessible in the fall.
Definitely. And, I try to give listeners here some options. There's obviously a lot of people who love camping, but it does get pretty cold as we get closer to, say, October, November time period. So glamping could be your next best bet if you want something that's a little bit more weatherproof, has a little bit of heating. Also, these glamp pods sometimes have air conditioning too. So it does tend to stay warm, into the fall time period. So again, that kind of creature comforts of home is here for you. And what I love is this destination. It's in the eastern panhandle of West Virginia. It's called Firefly Ridge. And it's really just a charming, peaceful retreat where you have these glamping pods that are set up on wooden platforms. So you don't have to worry about bugs or anything kind of crawling into your space at night. And you also have the comforts of home where it's a mattress bed, these beautifully designed glamping tents with rustic charms and finishes and touches. But again, you hear the birds chirping, you have the woods next to you, there's the West Virginia rolling hills. I just kind of enjoy it more when I have a comfy, cozy bed. So, it's kind of the best of both worlds. I think there's also the access points to hiking here, so folks can take advantage of that. Lots of great fly fishing if you want to give that a try. And again, they have campfire cooking next to each of the glamping tents. The best part about all of this is all of their rates hover at around $150 a night. If you go on their website at fireflyridge.com, they also have a 10% off promo if you subscribe to their newsletter. So you can take 10% off that rate and save even more, which is great for the fall time period.
And you're really close to Berkeley Springs, which just in general is one of my favorite places. If you are into spa vibes, they have hot springs. It's just a kind of funky town. So you could be glamping in the evening, but then go into town for a really nice dinner or really enjoy the town a little bit. It really is the best of all worlds.
Berkeley Springs is so pretty and beautiful. They have some of the coolest hot springs that you can check out, public bath hot springs that are really accessible to everyone. It's also right next to the Appalachian Trail, right next to the Potomac River, where you can go river tubing. So there's really unlimited amount of options for you. It's the outdoors, but then you also have some of the comforts of home. Also at this site, they have bathhouses, so you do have indoor plumbing and an accessible warm shower when you need it.
Well, I wanted to ask you, it sounds like you are like a glamping, like you're not trying to, backpack and sleep on a little pad. You're like, give me a comfy bed, give me indoor plumbing. We're on the range of glamping diva to like rustic camping aficionado. Where do you put yourself, Tim?
It's a great point. I think as I age, and I'm now in my late 30s here, my back prefers to be somewhere on a comfy bed versus the ground. But I have camped. I used to camp out west in Yellowstone. I've camped Shenandoah. I think my maximum for tent camping is like 2 nights before I'm a zombie without sleep, really. I am much more of a luxury diva these days. So glamping, I think, better suits me at my age and my speed. What about you?
Oh gosh. I mean, I've kind of gone along the similar trajectory. At this age that I'm at and this stage in my life, I like a comfy mattress. But I feel like that's the thing when I tell people that I like to camp. Part of the fun is how can I make this kind of a luxe experience even though I'm outside? So these days when I'm camping, it's almost like a challenge to see how luxe I can make it and still have it be technically camping.
And totally. And the other thing here with Firefly is no gear necessary, right? You don't have to set up your tent. You don't have to have your sleeping bag. They provide all of that for you. So if you're someone who isn't in the tenting game and has all of the REI supplies, this is a great option for you. It's like you can get away tomorrow and you can have sort of that semi-camping experience, but maybe a little bit more refined.
Exactly. I love it. I've not been to Firefly, but it's going to be on my list to check out. Speaking of camping, I used to do a trip out to Assateague near Ocean City and camp there. And the last time I went, I had a broken leg. We went at the height of summer humidity. It was a lot. And I did have an experience where I thought, gee, wouldn't it be nice to be in a nice air-conditioned hotel in Ocean City? and eventually we packed up our campsite, a night early and just got a hotel in Ocean City. And you know what? It was great. And I think people forget that we have Ocean City so close. You think of it as like a summertime retreat, but going there in as it gets colder, as it gets further into fall, is also an option available to us, right?
Yes, it is. And, I've done the Assateague Island experience too. I am very much fond of going to see the ponies for the day, maybe getting back to Ocean City for the night to be at a dock bar, enjoy some of the dinings and the entertainment options that the city has to offer. Beach season really does not end on Labor Day here in the Mid-Atlantic region. And I truly believe Ocean City, Maryland is extending the beach season to the fall more and more. What I've found is a lot of the hotels there along the Strip really lower their rates substantially the moment after Labor Day. I just did a search online, simple Google hotel search, and found dozens of hotels below $150 a night, which is unheard of in the summertime period. Those rates typically are between $300, $400, $500 a night in the summer. So it really is a great time to go and book a hotel or do your beach trip maybe off season. And it also includes some of the major hotel brands like Hilton, Quality Inn, or Hyatt that are offering those rates. So it's not just like your run-of-the-mill dingy divey B&B that you might expect. There's some really nice premium properties that could be had. So I would encourage people to look at the beach. And, one of the cool things about Ocean City is they plan a lot of fall festivals. We just had Bike Week in Ocean City, which is kind of wild. It's a lot of bikers come into town and you can see them all around the bars. But in a couple of weeks, we'll have the Ocean's Calling Music Festival, which is really truly a 1990s early aughts music lover music festival. Bands like OAR, Green Day, Lenny Kravitz, Fall Out Boy, Weezer, the bands of our high school era and college
you're
era.
You're speaking my millennial language, Tim.
And so, very fun music festival. I've been there for that. It is all around the boardwalk. There are multiple stages. It really brings new life to the beach, and that music festival is happening on September 26th. So great opportunity if you're into those bands to go check them out. A couple weeks later, the weekend of October 3rd, is the Country Calling Music Festival. And similarly, this is just country music acts. So major headlines this year are Carrie Underwood, Brooks and Dunn, Luke Bryan. So Ocean City's been pretty smart. They've been attracting more visitors off season, but they've been doing it around more of the entertainment focus alongside being at the beach. So I think that's something new that folks would want to check out if they're considering Ocean City for a fall vacation.
I also think they're probably signaling to folks who are a little bit older. Ocean City is sort of known for a party vibe in the summer. And so I think after that kind of dissipates, it's like, hey, millennials and older folks, come on out. The college kids are back at school. The weather's a little bit colder. Come see Lenny Kravitz and Fall Out Boy.
Totally. But I will say Ocean City is still always a party, regardless of your age. Secrets will still be open out of the summer season, so you can always go there. I love to tell people now, though, that Secrets has a new restaurant that they just opened called Hideaway at Secrets. And this is a elevated white tablecloth linen table experience where you have a little bit of fine dining along the bay spot. So this, is a place that I think is associated with revelry, late nights, lots of cover bands playing loud music. Secrets even has a softer sides now, which I find fascinating for Ocean City.
Oh my God, I had no idea about this. The last time I was at Secrets, when I was coming in, I saw probably 5 security guards kicking a guy out by just like hoisting him above their head and just like marching him out. The idea that Secrets is where you would go for a fine dining white tablecloth experience, I'm having a little bit of trouble wrapping my head around it.
It's actually surprised me too. I checked it out this summer and was pleasantly surprised by the cocktails, the seafood they serve. It's Mediterranean inspired. So like you kind of feel like you get that Riviera waterfront experience on the bay. There's a couple other great new restaurants down there too that I want to point listeners to. One is called Flamingo Coast, and that's located on the boardwalk. Flamingo Coast is kind of your spot for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And it really brings like beachy vibes right on the boardwalk. Guests can take in the view and the passerbys who are on the boardwalk, but also You get your Orange Crush there. You get some great craft cocktails. And so that's something new for Ocean City as well. And then further up north on 75th Street, there's a place called Saltwater 75. This is another bayfront restaurant with just iconic seafood dishes with seating that overlooks the bay. Perfect to be there at sunset. Really just a great meal experience. And I think Ocean City is starting to realize it's upping its game with new restaurants, new hotels. It also has really built up a lot around its golf courses. There's a lot of golf courses you can now play. So I think it attracts that crew of people who enjoy just getting out to play golf for the weekend. So this beach town, which I think we've all associated with our younger years, in the 1990s, 80s, whatever, has really grown to become, I think, a little bit more mature and a little bit more seasoned in terms of its refinement.
I completely agree. The last time I was there, which wasn't really that long ago, I ate at this fantastic restaurant. It wasn't on the beach, and I think I definitely am somebody who wants to have a cocktail overlooking the bay or the water. But even though it was off the beach area a little bit, Liquid Assets, have you been there?
I love it. It's my favorite.
So we only found out about it because we were pestering the bartender at another bar, like, where's the best place to go? So reasonably priced, and I don't think I've ever had better food. Really, it was the best meal I've had in a very long time.
And Liquid Assets has an incredible range of wine from around the world. You could take it a bottle to go back to your beach house. You could enjoy it there in the bar and restaurant area. I think there's a lot of things about Ocean City that people come in with like prejudgments of like, oh, this is a wild and raucous party town. But once you start to peel back the layers and eat around and shop around and really take in the sights and sounds, it does offer a lot of unexpected fun. And I think particularly outside of the summer season is the best time to visit.
Don't miss Folger Theater's Julius X, playing September 23rd through October 26th at the Folger Shakespeare Library. This bold new play by Peabody Award-winning journalist Al Letson remixes Shakespeare's Julius Caesar with the history of Malcolm X, sampling lyrically and historically from Shakespeare's text, famous speeches by civil rights leaders, and Letson's own verse. Directed by DC-based theater artist Nicole Brewer and starring renowned Shakespearean actor Brandon Carter, Julius X explores the historical weight of Malcolm X's last days and the cyclical nature of ambition, power, and revolution. Tickets start at $20 and can be purchased online at folger.edu or by calling the box office at 202-544-7077. Tuesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Get yours today.
I think of vacations really as a way to experience things that you're not really able to experience at home. Is that what you're looking for when you're planning these kinds of trips?
I think so. Experiences you can't get at home, but I say with people you love the most from home and want to bring with. For my fall, what I'm trying to do is plan a lot of friends and family trips. I want to get trips out of the group chat and I want to bring them into reality. So I can tell you from my own trip planning purposes, I am trying to get out to the beach one more time just for one last hurrah with some friends that I've yet to see. Maybe Ocean's Calling. We haven't really thrown that off the table yet. I love 90s music, so I could potentially be there this year. But, I'm also looking at Mountain Getaway for the season, something where it's a little bit off the grid. I can do some reading, disconnect, and not be so much on a screen or a device. I think really group trips are fun too because it allows you to split costs and it allows you to save a lot of money in the process. So you can actually go into, say a bigger vacation rental house or a nicer hotel. So it also is just an economical way to save as you're traveling as well.
And I think, let's face it, if you're in DC, it's probably been a weird couple of months.
Oh, yes.
Being the friend who is building the community you want to have and doing the work of fostering the connection that you have with your friend group. It is like anybody listening, you could be that friend. You could have that experience. Just be the person who does the work of taking it out of the group chat and making it a reality.
And also, there's a lot of places you can consider just going to for the day. Even in the city alone, like I mentioned, Rock Creek Park, an incredible leaf peeping part of the city in the right time of the year. But I would encourage people just to look around their own backyards. Traveling locally is also just an incredibly sustainable way to travel. When we think about trips, we usually hop on a long flight. It's a lot of CO2 emissions to get that flight from point A to point B. Then you're like driving around everywhere and doing a lot of other things. Sometimes, visiting really highly touristic areas that are just overwhelmed with volumes of people. So if you're thinking about traveling sustainably, traveling in your backyard is actually the most sustainable way to travel. Sometimes you can get there by other means outside of a car. Sometimes, you can split costs and you can split some of the things that you would do, like meal prepping with friends and family. So I'm a huge advocate for local travel. I think it's really sustainable and it's a really easy way to do something on a whim as well.
Listeners will know I have my annual friend fire meetup in Rock Creek Park. I just had drinks with a friend and we were planning it like, oh, it's still on, right? It's still on. We have so much right in our own backyard. So getting away does not have to mean spending lots and lots of money and going on a long, extensive, planned out trip. It can be as simple as meeting up with friends and enjoying a fire pit in Rock Creek Park.
Totally. I love that. I might have to come find you.
Oh, yeah. You'll be invited to the annual fire pit in Rock Creek Park. Tim, how do you find these places? Could people replicate your methodology for finding these cheaper trips near DC?
Yeah, I think, anyone who stays on top of local media, who reads a lot of travel publications, definitely can find some of these places. Some of my favorite travel publications like Travel and Leisure, or even here locally, like Washingtonian, they have great travel sections for where to go in this region. But another thing I'll clue people into is this idea of working with a travel advisor. Travel advisors are what we might have called decades ago travel agents, except they're not really there to sell you on traveling. It's more that they're to help you maximize your time as you travel. These are people who are super plugged into hotels, who are super plugged into, say, airline or cruise line that you're wanting to take. And they have all of the preferential deals that you don't have as an everyday consumer. So working with a travel advisor frequently is oftentimes just free, and they benefit off of you booking through them and earning a cut of whatever you would book with them. But I've used them several times. They're also just great people to follow on social media. So whether you're on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, TikTok, travel advisors are there and they're showcasing a lot of destinations around the world, but also in your own backyard. And so I've used a travel advisor most recently to plan a family cruise. My mother-in-law retired and we wanted to celebrate her. So I used a travel advisor. They're called Dynamite Travel, and I would encourage listeners to check them out. They're just really experienced, and they also work with cruise liners a lot, so they can get you the best room accommodations, the best credits for staying on board, and also just can maximize and ease all of the painful processes, like even getting your luggage onto the ship or transferring from the airport. They will handle that. And again, you're not paying them. They have these deals arranged previously with all of these various travel companies. So they really help you maximize your time on the trip versus you having to plan it all yourself.
It would never, ever in a million years occur to me to work with this kind of travel advisor. Every time I talk to you, it's a new tip that blows my mind. Tim, thank you so much. Honestly, somebody listening is taking furious notes, and they're going to be the friend who arranges the fabulous trip that everybody's talking about for weeks and weeks to come.
I love it. I love when people travel, and I'm always here to help support your travel needs, Bridget.
That's all for today here on CityCast DC. If you enjoyed the show, tell a friend that you want to take leaf peeping. You can always find great recommendations in our newsletter. And to support our work, become a CityCast DC member. Go to membership.citycast.fm to join. We'll be back tomorrow morning with even more news from around the city. Talk to you then.